We made it to 3.
3.
I don't know what's going to happen when I run out of fingers.
We're going to be, if we make it to 10, I think we're just done.
Yeah, we've ascended.
We can't have anything more to say.
We've reached the mountaintop. So this is our 3rd of 10 episodes. Enjoy it.
Otherwise, it just turns into babbling, rambling, right? Like
people seem to enjoy it. I don't understand it. I hate listening to myself ramble, but
yes, but let's say again, in case anyone missed the first episode, the reason we started this was because we had a lot of people ask us to do, and they wanted to hear more about how we got started with Knitrino. But also it just felt like natural outgrowth of what Knitrino is. Knitrino is an app that is supposed to make it easier to learn. I mean, it does. It's not supposed to. It does. It makes it really easy to learn new techniques, new skills. But Knitrino is also community, and the very first thing, we were going to do that one day, get our lab notebooks.
Next time.
The very first thing we did when we started this company is we got our lab notebooks out, and on page 1, we brainstormed all of the things that we valued. And then we picked our top 5 or something. Anyway, and we wrote our values together. And one of them was to empower knitters. That's I think that was our first one. We want to empower knitters. And so that's what our podcast is, a little bit of empowerment. We're going to teach you new things.
I'm excited.
Yeah.
You just empowered me. I'm like,
but we're also going to talk about knitting and knits and how to bring your knits into your everyday life. I have seen something that just really baffles me, and that is a lot of people make things and they don't wear them on a regular basis. No. I love wearing my knits.
But why? So why do you think that is? Do you think it's that they're choosing colors or objects that aren't them, or is it that they're trying to keep things nice? What do you have a hypothesis?
Oh, it could be. I never thought about that. But here, that's a problem, because wool should last forever. I have a sweater that was one of the first sweaters I made. Allison, you bought me the wool. It's just a rustic, like a nice Shetland rustic kind of wool. I wear that sweater almost every day on my farm, and it looks great. It never even pilled. Like, I think I've washed it 3 times. Like, and it's covered in goat dirt.
But it's wool.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, if people aren't wearing their knits because they're worried about messing them up, maybe they're not choosing the right. I mean, lace can snag.
Yeah, well, and I think too. Okay, so we're tangenting already, but should we come back to this? I will say, when I first started knitting, which was not that long ago, I remember feeling like, okay, I'm knitting this sweater. It was the first thing I was making. And I was like, I did feel this pressure, I don't know, expectation that I wanted to get it right. I wanted it to fit, because, this may be the only sweater I ever knit or whatever. I don't know that I was consciously thinking that. And then I, at some point, realized, holy cow, I have knit so many sweaters that if I wear a different one every day, I can go weeks with. So I let go of that expectation of keeping things perfect, keeping things not, or first of all, making things perfect. It is so much more enjoyable to knit when you decide it's fine if it's not perfect. I don't care. Nobody's going to notice.
As long as it fits, like,
yeah, as long as you like it.
It can be too big. As long as it's not too small, you did okay.
Frankly, I like mine too small.
Yeah, but most people don't.
I know. But in fact, one of the things that people told us in the colorwork class we did, I actually wore the first colorwork sweater I ever knit, and I wore it to the class, and I talked about it, and I said, this is my first project, and I was so worried about ruining it. And you know what? It was not and is not perfect. It is such a mess. My tension was bad. Like, I had to go through every row and loosen up my floats, they were too tight. And then the next one I dramatically overcompensated on. But the point is, I still wear it and I still love it. And nobody in the world, other than maybe another knitter who is like, oh my gosh, that sweater is amazing, let me look at it, would ever notice that all the mistakes and all the problems with it. And I love it. I love wearing it. So let us give you a gift. Let go of your expectations of perfection, and you will enjoy your knitting more. You will enjoy experiencing your knitwear more and wearing it more. If that's your problem, maybe it's not.
Yeah, I mean, and hey, if you're watching this, we love it when you leave a comment.
Oh my gosh, we do.
If you want to comment on what we're talking about right now, like, do you wear your knits on a regular basis, or what are the reasons maybe that you don't? I have a few ideas. One is that there are these weird societal ideas that, you dress a certain way to fit in. And I guess it starts in high school. It starts in like school. I remember not fitting in school. Do you remember not fitting in school, Alison?
I mean, before school, I remember never fitting in. Someday. So maybe down to me and one other person, and I will fit in.
Maybe we had an early lesson in life that we couldn't dress to look like we were fitting in, because we grew up without a lot of excess money.
We both were hand-me-downs, so like people would give us clothes, and we were both tall and skinny, and nothing ever fit. Yeah.
So anyway, I wonder if people don't wear their knits because it looks different, like, especially if it's.
Yeah. So we want to know, put it in the comments. Let us know if you wear your knits, and if not, why not?
So let's talk about what we're wearing, because we do wear our knits almost every day.
All the time. Oh, and today, added bonus, I happen to be wearing the jeans that I made.
That's so cute. I can't wait to show what jeans I'm wearing.
I can see. I think you're wearing overalls.
I am.
Okay. So show us what you're wearing.
Talk about fitting in. I live in rural Oklahoma, and I have to go to the feed store like at least once a week. And because I don't like to do a lot of heavy lifting, so I just get a few bags a week. But I'm serious, like I'm almost always the only girl there. I'm almost always the only person under 50 there. And I love these older men that come to the feed store. They're so friendly and sweet. Just yesterday, we were talking about the weather, me and this older guy, and he's like, I was telling him about that storm, and it was really weird. And he's like, well, I'll be. And he just kept saying it. It was so cute. But he was wearing his overalls. And I was thinking, I need to wear my overalls more often when I come to the feed store. So I'm wearing my overalls today.
So cute.
See, talk about wanting to fit in, but my overalls, like, they don't look like these guys' overalls. They fit pretty good.
Yeah.
But I love wearing my overalls with a bandana cowl. And we talked about Angel's, not a bandana cowl, a bandana, a triangle shawl that you wear like a bandana.
Yeah.
So we talked about Angel's Landing last week. This is the original one and the official colors of Julie Aslin's beautiful, beautiful Journey yarn. We love this yarn. But I mean, a triangle shawl is one of the easiest things to wear. You just wrap it around your neck like a bandana. And I love them because they're warm. Just keeping your neck warm keeps your whole body a lot warmer. And they hide those wrinkles I'm getting on my older neck. And they're comfortable and they're squishy. But if you're wearing something like this one that's got multiple colors and multiple patterns in it, it can be hard to know what to wear it with. And so I always have something very simple in my wardrobe, and I pick things that are going to last me a really long time. Like before I buy anything, I think, will I be wearing this, in 3-5 years? I like things that stay kind of timeless. I'm not sure overalls do, but I think in Oklahoma they do. But so I do like to buy a lot of neutrals that I know I can wear with lots of different things. And I do kind of have a color palette. So a lot of my things do work together just because those are colors I wear a lot. And if you didn't know, blue is a neutral.
What?
So I have a lot of blues. Blue is considered a neutral these days.
Really?
And you can wear different blues together. I'm wearing blue jeans with this light blue shirt. And I feel like it works really well with this multicolored cowl that doesn't have any blue in it at all.
Nice. Okay, but here's the question. So where I struggle is when I'm like putting on something like that. Two things really. The ends are always flopping around in weird ways, and also turn the wrong way. And then it's also always falling off. Am I
really?
Here, you want to coach me? All right. So I take I've got mine right here. So here's my here's my angel's landing. Okay. So what do I do?
Okay. Here's what I do. I always start by holding it in the center where I want it to be on the center of me.
Okay.
And I always put one end around and then the other. And I don't know that there is an order of operations that I prefer. And then I take the center part and pull it out a little bit.
And then you always fluff your hair after. Do you
yeah.
know
Oh, yeah.
No, but you do. You pull your hair out and then you always, it's so cute. I love it. It's one of my
fluff
favorite
my
things.
hair. I didn't have very good hair most of my life. And I feel like now when I'm getting some white in there, it's gotten a lot more volume and I'm really enjoying having bigger hair. And then I do always make sure that it's laying. So if there is a right side and a wrong side, that's really obvious. I try to make sure that it's laying with the right side. If it's just the stripes, it doesn't matter much, right? Although it does a little.
So, okay. So I have a question. What about, this is something I've been playing with lately. Let's go back. Okay. So what about doing sometimes I've been doing a little tie.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Tucking it.
Yeah.
That's kind of showing, but trying to find a way to do a little tie and tuck it under, just because I feel like it's always fallen off over my shoulders otherwise. But
maybe it's because you're thinner. Like I have kind of wide shoulders. Like I don't ever feel like body shape probably has a lot to do with that.
I don't know. Anyway,
but yeah, I tuck the ends in a lot if it's a longer shawl to keep it kind of all in one place. But this one is such a nice, it's a smaller shawl and it doesn't really go anywhere.
Size. Yeah.
But yeah, you can always tuck those ends. Like when you wrap them around, instead of just wrapping them, you can tuck them through. Triangle shawls are one of my favorite things to wear.
I know you're always wearing them. I never feel like I know what to wear them with, so I just wear them. Oh, look who's back. It's Ariel. Back for episode 3. She's being naughty.
Can I tell about the pom-poms?
Yes.
I had a little pom-pom bouquet and I left it sitting on the floor. And Ariel's like 10 or 11 now. I don't really know because she came with the house. But she was always an indoor cat, and she was a hunter, and she stopped hunting in her old age the last year or so, and she's now hunting indoors. So there is orange yarn. There were 2 orange flowers in my bouquet, and she went with the orange first. And
different, or do you think it's just color?
Nope, same brand of yarn. And I don't know. I can't remember if cats see colors. I thought they were black and white. I thought they were kind of shades of gray. Blue. Oh, it's yellow probably.
Maybe. I know their vision goes much further into the infrared. So I think they probably don't get a lot of visible.
Oh.
But shockingly, I know a lot more about the cat cochlea than I do about the cat eye, which is interesting because my background is in optics. But anyway. We want to talk about why I know about the cat cochlea.
I know a lot about color vision in horses and monkeys and humans, but anyway, that was random. We just said we weren't going to ramble.
No, we never promised that we weren't going to ramble. We said, I mean, we're 30% of the way through, or we're working on 30% through our podcast. The life of our podcast, right? We're episode 3 of.
Oh yeah, because we're only doing 10.
We got to start rambling at some point.
Okay. All right. Well, we decided that we would talk about what we were wearing. Have you shown us what you're wearing?
No. So I am wearing my steeked geofade. Woo!
So cute. I love it.
While I'm at it, Here are my 1940s jeans that I made.
Amazing.
So cute.
I cannot believe you make your own jeans. That has to be the hardest thing. Sewing's hard anyway.
It's not hard. It's so much easier than, I mean, faster. It's faster than knitting. But anyway, yeah, I don't think sewing is hard. I mean, it's different, but anyway. So little known fact, when we were young, our mother taught us to sew. It was a part of our education. So that, you know, when we grew up and got married and had lots of babies, we would be able to sew for our families.
That's sweet.
It is sweet. It didn't happen, but at least I can sew for myself. So anyway, and then I'm also wearing a vintage knit underneath, but
it's really cute too.
I show.
Yeah, it's got cherries on it.
It does. And I do. I really like this one. So it's got cherries on the yokes and the sleeves.
So cute.
And little buttons, so cute. Little vintage buttons, if you can see them. Probably not. My hair's in the way. Anyway.
Super cute.
Okay, but yes, so this is my geofade that I made, and then I steeked it. And actually, I've been working on, I want to write a blog post about steeking it so that if anyone else wants to, they know what I did. But who has spare time these days?
Not us.
Not us. But anyway, I think it will be a fun blog post. I like steeking.
Well, I'll be. I would start using that a lot. I really like it.
Do you remember our great grandmother lived with us growing up?
I do remember. I didn't like that one.
I didn't either, but she was so cute. She was from the deep South, the hills in Georgia, and she would always say, "Oh, me."
I hated it.
She'd say, "Well, I can't understand you. You talk too fast." That was us. Go. And she was just taking it slow. It's fine. I like the different cultures colliding.
I like that our dad got her registered to vote.
At 86, she had never registered to vote. And I'm just going to put in a little plug for grandma here. Our great grandmother, Iola, when she was a young bride, I can't quite remember how old she was. In my head, I have her at 16, but she might have been a little older than that. But she was married, and I think she'd had her first baby, and she had a sister who was 16. I don't know, a lot of years younger than her. 10 years younger. I don't remember.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah. So her sister was living with Iola's mother and stepfather, and that guy was a jerk, and he was an alcoholic, and he was abusing the little girl. That's all I know. And she went over there and she kidnapped her sister, and she took her home and raised her.
That's not the only grandma kidnapping story in our family.
Not even close.
Hold on. I want to show everybody something Iola made.
Oh. Should I too? Or you? It's fine.
I got it. Iola crocheted, and even into her like 90s, like until she died, she was always working on granny squares.
Yeah, look at this.
It's so beautiful. I mean, this is like an acrylic yarn, but it is gorgeous. It's got just a little sparkle in it. No, maybe it doesn't.
The sweaters she made us have sparkles.
I love this so much. And once I don't have a cat that's hunting inside, I might be able to put it on my bed. That's the dream of mine.
Yeah.
And also 3 dogs that shed every day.
And I have to say, so even once she got pretty severe dementia late in life. And I remember she didn't know where she was or anything, but she's always crocheting. Like I think yarn in her hand. She's just crocheting.
Yeah, she was always doing. Oh, also what was sad is like she had plucked chickens in a like chicken factory for a lot of her life, and she would always pluck chickens too. That part made me feel really like not good.
Yeah, she worked in a hosiery factory back in the early days. Yeah. Yeah. Different time. Different time. She's an awesome woman. Glad she got to live with us. Anyway.
I remember the history teacher next door to me would always ask, his students, if you could go back in time 100 years and have all the money and be like the wealthiest person, would you do that? And I was always like, what a jerky question to ask. Of course not. I'm a woman. No, I wouldn't go back 100 years.
Yeah, all the money in the world, it wouldn't have mattered. Oh boy. All right. Anyway, we'll figure out if we're going to leave that in or not. How much editing do you do?
Segmenting into a part 2. Yes. So it's always, we're going to talk about our knits, and then we're going to talk a little bit about our story.
Oh, great.
So last week we talked about how I learned to knit. This week I get to interview Alison and find out how she learned to knit. This is a story we have told in some of our knit nights before, but I don't get sick of hearing it because I'm the hero of the story. Alison, how did you learn how to knit?
Yeah, so I do remember the things I made you. I had forgotten about those. And I did. You're reminding me. I did crochet some other things. I made Dad some slippers. Oh, and so for those who don't know, I am an incredibly thrifty person. I learned it from my father, and I would not, back in the day, things have changed a little, but I would not pay for the yarn I wanted. It was just too expensive. And so I would go to the thrift store and I would find, wool or cashmere sweaters, and I would unravel them and knit new things out of them. And so
I tried that once. It's really hard.
It's
really hard.
No, you have to. So you have to look for certain styles of sweaters very often, and then if once you get kind of the formula down, you start at the shoulder seams, take out the neck, and I just throw away the scrappy bits. I just take the body and the sleeves typically, and I throw all this crap away. But anyway, and if it has cables in it, typically that's a lot harder to unravel because of the way they do cables with machines. But anyway, so most of like the thing I made you, that shawl I made you, it was from a sweater I unraveled. I think Mom's was one of yours. I made you each one, and Dad's slippers were from unraveled sweaters. And so this is a fun fact. This is a very World War II thing, and a lot of the vintage knitting books. I have these. They happen to be right here. I have these World War II knitting books that have knitting patterns in them. Is this the one? I've knit these. And let's see, this isn't the one, but so often their patterns are to use your scraps, or how to unravel a sweater and make it into something new, because people couldn't get, oh, I love this. Look at this lady. Oh, I love it. But so yeah, unraveling was a very World War II thing. And I think one of my favorite sweaters I knit is actually the instructions say to go to your scrap box where you keep all your oddments. That's the word they use, oddments.
And I love that word, oddments.
And that's what you knit the sweater out of. So anyway, so that is my history with fiber before knitting. And I really had no interest in knitting. Like, Andrea, you had been knitting a lot, and I was really impressed. Like, I couldn't believe the things you were making, especially compared to what I crocheted. That does remind me, I did crochet myself a sweater at one point, and then we had a moth problem in the building I was living in.
Don't even say the words. Keep going. Tell your knitting story.
I never recovered. I kept it. I kept the sweater. It's in Ziploc bags. It's been frozen and all that, but
don't bring that anywhere near me.
No. So anyway, I had no desire to learn to knit. I was impressed with what Andrea was doing, and especially when she started publishing in magazines. And she was. So we talked, I think, a little last time. I get mixed up because then we had another knit night where we talked, but she published in magazines like Interweave and some of some of those magazines, and also like Pom Pom and I don't know. Anyway, it was pretty impressive. But then we decided to start Knitrino. And I mentioned this before. I was like, I don't need to learn how to knit. Like that, you know, if you're talking to your customers, you can learn everything you need about what they need without actually being one of your own customers, right? That's like kind of a philosophy or whatever in theory. And I told Andrea when we started, I said, I do not need another hobby. I don't have enough time for the hobbies I have now. And the last thing I need is a new one. And then we started Knitrino and started going to all these shows and talking to knitters. And I did feel like, okay, there's a whole lot of education I need to really understand what's going on. And that was really, I think the motivation was I wanted a depth of understanding that I just didn't have. And so
I think it's different, right? It's different than a lot of other business things where.
And so we had been exploring the possibility of a Knitrino-like thing for about a month and a half or 2 months, I think. And it was at one of the events that we bought the first yarn, I think. But what I remember is that we were having traditional Mexican Thanksgiving. Do you remember this?
I do remember. I remembered it was in Mexico.
Yeah. And she was teaching me to knit. So I'm knitting a sweater, and I wanted to try it on. You know, I don't know, for whatever reason, you never trust your math. I wanted to try it on. I think it was that nervousness that what if it doesn't fit? Like, oh no, it's the end of the world if I knit a sweater that doesn't fit. It's not, you guys. If you do that, it's not the end of the world. And I pulled it on over my head, and I was using a kind of small circular, and so the needles pulled out. And I panicked. And so I ran to Andrea's room, or whatever they were, little place you were staying in Mexico. And I said, oh no, it's ruined. I have to start over. I was so sad. I thought I had to start over. That was I would say it wasn't like an in-depth analysis that I had done, but I just assumed if your needles come out, you have to start over. And Andrea said to me, no, it's all right. We just put the stitches back on the needles. And I could not believe the sense of relief I felt when she said that, and when she showed me how to do it. And you know, when you're starting out, you can't really distinguish between whether a stitch is on the needle backwards, or if you've dropped a stitch and you have a float.
That happened on the same trip when you were learning.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure if you dropped one or if there was a mistake and we dropped down and fixed it.
No, I think it was that same time when the needles had come out that some of the stitches, you know, had pulled loose. And so she showed me how to fix my knit.
Ladder them.
Yeah.
Ladder them back up.
Yep. And I think that moment was so important for what we wanted Knitrino to be. I thought, okay, if I hadn't had Andrea, I would have frogged that whole sweater and I would have given up on knitting. Because, you know, it takes so little. Once you become frustrated, it takes so little to just knock you off the horse and you never get back on, right? You're just like, I'm done. That was such a bad experience. I don't want to feel that way again. So I'm just not going to do it. What?
I'm just thinking about that, that you really think you would have not kept on knitting. And I mean, I can think that would be true for a lot of people. It's,
well, and especially like I didn't have some strong motivation to learn to knit. Like I've seen people who decide they want to learn. It's almost like this, it's because they have a bunch of friends who knit and their friends are together and like, oh, look at this. And they're going crazy over yarn and patterns and whatever. And it's like the peer pressure, that wanting to belong, that makes somebody want to learn. I did not have that. I had no desire to learn. I was, other than to really understand my potential customers and to know what they were going through. That was my motivation. And so yeah, I mean, I absolutely
think it's really important to our brand that whole thing happened.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that when Andrea was talking about us, you know, brainstorming on what our values were, that came up a lot. Like that idea of having a knitting sister, of Knitrino being your knitting sister, or your knitting, what do we say?
Mentor.
Coach, mentor, all those kind of words, like somebody helping you along. That was really, really important. And so now I knit all the things.
And I have one more question.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure it's a question, but it's something I think about a lot. I hear a lot of people who are serious knitters, like it's a big part of their life, refer to it as a hobby. And to me, it does not feel like a hobby. To me, it feels like art. It feels like part of my lifestyle. Making something for myself or making something for someone I love is really important to me. And I don't understand why people who knit for a really long time and knit a lot still consider it just a hobby.
You know, I think I guess I see your point. It's almost like hobby is minimizing it. The word hobby is devaluing all that it is, right? All the meaning that it brings to your life. And
and just historically, I think too, like it used to be, if you were in like the poorer class, which we would be, you had to knit for yourself. Like it was part of surviving on Earth to have clothes. It's Maslow's basic needs, you know?
Yeah, I mean, well, and like the whole thing with like the knitting books and the knitting magazines that started coming out, right? Kind of in the modernization era during World War II and before, in the 30s and 40s, where it really started catching on, right? It was, I think a lot of it was that homemakers were knitting for their families, and it had been something that was learned from people around you, and people were like wanting styles and new things that weren't just taught them, like the sweaters. We love the sweaters our grandmother made us, but they're not exactly a style I think either of us would ever choose. And that's what we would be crocheting without modern knitwear. So anyway, digression, but yeah, I think
it's empowering.
It is.
Being able to make your own clothes.
It's not even just making your own clothes. I think you hit on it, and I wanted to echo it, because like knitting is a very big part of my life. I am always knitting now. Like I don't go anywhere. It's so funny. We went out for my birthday. We went out for dinner, and I was like, I'm bringing my knitting. Okay. Not that you're gonna bore me, but and he's like, do you even have to ask? It like I bring it everywhere. It's my security blanket. I know that I have it if I get stuck somewhere. I always bring it. And
do you remember that one time we forgot to bring our emergency backup yarn?
Mm-hmm. Yep. And now I always make you bring it. And anyway, so what I was gonna say is, for me, I think it's not so much the knitting in and of itself as the creation, the kind of, because I'm a little the same way about gardening. You know, the nurturing of something, caring for it. Like you should see me out there when I plant my tomatoes, and I go out every day and I pet them.
Well, that's the one thing plants don't like. They don't like to be touched.
Oh, mine do. Anyway, but yeah, so for me, there's something about, kind of putting yourself and your experiences into a handmade something. And for now, the thing is knitting, and I think it probably will be forever at this point. But I feel the same way about meals. Like I love spending all day making a meal. Well, sometimes, not every day.
Sometimes.
And I make my own bread. Every couple of days I make a loaf of bread. And I like that art of creation. Yeah.
I do too.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. And I think a lot of knitters do.
Yeah. No, I think so too. And then, the other thing that I mentioned, and this is really rambly, probably. Sorry, everyone. Tell us in the comments if we're too rambly. I'll probably edit that out. But the other piece for me is I'm always on the go. I am always doing. I hate having my time wasted, no matter who is wasting it or why they're wasting it. If there is something else I need to be doing and you're not letting me do it, it makes me angry. And so knitting fills that problem. Like, right, I used to hate evenings after dinner, if you sit on the couch to watch a movie. That felt like such a waste of my time.
Well, same.
And now it's like, doesn't matter to me. I don't care what we watch. You put on whatever you want.
Faculty meetings.
Yeah.
Faculty meetings.
Oh, when I was doing my MBA. Yeah. Sitting in class. I mean, some of the classes were very engaging, but some were not. Yeah. And I just loved, and I check with the faculty and I'd say, hey, want you to know this is helping me focus. It is, and if it bothers you, I can put it away. But I would like to do it, and they all let me. But anyway,
that was fun learning about revisiting all the knitting and making in our family even.
Yeah.
And now we will segment to the last segment of our show where we talk a little bit about what's coming next in Knitrino and show you some techniques that will go lovely with it.
Things you might need. So
should I show the yarn?
Oh, well, yeah, before you even do that, I have to say, so one of our viewers messaged us to say,
yeah,
her favorite thing about the podcast is that she's always looking, like if I do a demo of Knitrino on the phone, she's like, oh, I saw things that I haven't seen before. I think they're coming soon. And so that's adorable. I love it so much. And so that's what we're talking about now.
Me too.
Go ahead.
So we start with Knitrino. We start with the yarn. Mm-hmm. And we knew that we wanted to make something with a lot of colors. Mm-hmm. And so we picked a yarn company that we really love that has these, they're not minis, they're 50 gram skeins. And they have a beautiful palette. It's Blue Sky Fibers Woolstock Light.
The fingering.
Yeah, it's a fingering weight, single ply. Very woolly, 100% Highland wool, very sticky. And what is a good woolly, sticky yarn good for?
Color work.
It is. It's good for color work.
Huh?
Yeah. You want that color work to stick to itself.
Yeah. Don't use a superwash or a nylon for color work unless it's got some kind of Velcro-y capability, because it'll just slip around. You want something that's gonna cling to itself. Makes for a really nice project. So Andrea, do you want to show us what's coming soon in Knitrino? And maybe I'll show people. I'll get it ready to show.
Yes, here it is, everyone. We made so many of these, getting them right for you. Boom. They are just little works of art by Faye Kennington, who's Yuki Knits everywhere. Faye is one of our favorites, and we are really, really in love with these. Beautiful. It's like a modern color work, kind of geometric, beautiful thing. We made how many pair? One. Well, I guess not pair. How many mittens? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's another one somewhere. It was the one I wanted to surprise you with, and I don't know where it went. I guess I'll surprise you with it a different time.
Oh, well, and then I made a bunch too. There are a bunch of mittens, some of them with lots of thumbs. So I actually today was working on a blog post about the afterthought thumb. So this mitten features an afterthought thumb, which neither of us had ever done before.
Here's what it looks like.
Yeah. And so we spent a lot of time engineering this thumb so that it is absolutely, I mean, I love it. It is a great afterthought thumb that it was carefully placed in the mitten. And so anyway, the blog post, which will hopefully be done soon, it'll be done when we launch the mittens. We'll kind of go through that, what makes it so special. But so I also have been knitting, here's the one in progress that I was working on last night.
Oh, those are so pretty.
Isn't that so pretty? Yeah. So and I love those 50-gram skeins. You can make so many mittens.
I know. All those mittens we showed you, I still haven't finished my original colors.
So this was the first one. I've got the thumb in progress there. But you can see I used a lighter green on this one, and it wasn't enough contrast. So on the second one, I used a darker green.
Oh, it's good to show people.
That's what I thought. I do it all for you, everyone out there. So anyway, should we just show how much fun it is in Knitrino to kind of set your colors?
I think we said it before, but if we had to pick a favorite feature, the color showing you your charts and your yarn colors is a top contender. For me, it might be Click a Stitch, but I know for Alison, it's charts and her colors.
Yeah. So, here are my Goldie Mittens by Faye Kennington. This is the one I just showed you, so I'll open that up. So here, it's designed for 6 colors. Andrea was showing you the 6 colors that we did the sample in, which is not what you're seeing here. And so the nice thing, where did I leave off? Let me just see. So here you can see I did mine in only 4 colors. So I set the B and C and E and F to be the same colors so that I'm only using 4. But so let's see, I'll go to my project so you can see this is where I am. And I knew you can kind of tell looking at this that my contrast is a little low. So, but if you say didn't want to do that, I'm gonna regret this, but I'm gonna edit my colors back to the default. Let's see if that works. If I go down,
you are gonna regret this.
Yeah, I have it recorded, so I know what colors they were in. You can reset to the pattern defaults. Let's see if it works. I don't know if I've tried it with color. Yeah, there we go. So now you can see these are the original colors. And now if I click on the project, it should reload. Ah, there it goes. So Andrea, hold yours up again. So this is the one that you saw in the sample. Yeah. So cute.
So cute. I love these.
Me too. And then
I will say to all the future people who think about making these, the first one, there's a little bit of learning to it.
Yeah.
But once you make one, you don't want to stop.
Yeah, it's true. I think I'm on like, I don't know, 9 or 10 at this point.
Part of the problem is there's going to be a lot of yarn attached at certain points if you do it the way I do it. Yeah. And I have so many animals. And so it's like they need to go in and out every few minutes. So it was always like, move all the yarn, get out of my chair.
And I'll show you actually here in a second we'll do a demo and I'll show you so you can see all the yarn attached. But so like if you wanted to edit these colors to something else, you know, you can just do that here. So if you were, I don't know, going to use purple instead of blue.
Ooh,
Ooh, I like that. Maybe just with the
I do
purple.
too.
And maybe a hot pink, or would that be ugly? Let's just do
I
the
don't
purple.
know.
Let's see what it looks like now. Ooh, I like it.
Ooh, I like it too.
Can you order me some purple?
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. So it just makes it really great for deciding on your colors. You know, you can play around with them, mix them up. It's a really nice tool. But so let's talk about yarn attached. And what I am going to do, I think, oh, I heard a rooster.
Did you really?
Yeah, I'm going to get my camera open here. So here's the mitten I am working on. And you can see that I have all these yarns attached. Oh, that's the start of my round right there. And so you can either those are my what's happening here? Uh-oh. Oh, there we go. You can either cut your yarn. See if I can zoom in a little. There we go. So you can either cut your yarn every time there's a color change, which I did on the first mitten, and I regretted. Because then I had a million ends to weave in at the end. Although we did just do joining video on the last podcast, so that hopefully part of the motivation for that is hopefully people can weave in their ends as they go. That helps a lot. But the alternative is to carry your yarn up on the inside. And so we're just going to show you how to do that. When we were doing the test knit, some of the test knitters had a big problem with holes forming where they were carrying their yarn. And the trick is just making sure that you're twisting it around the other yarn, so that it stays, so that the stitches stay pulled in the direction you want them pulled in. The other thing I'll say is this one, they're all kind of short color work sections that you're carrying it. If you're ever carrying it for very long, I would say typically, definitely an inch, but maybe even less than that. You're just going to want to catch that yarn every half inch to an inch or so, even if it's not being used, so that you don't end up with these really long loops that your fingers can get caught on. That won't be the case in this mitten, but and then here, while I've got this out, here's my little thumb that I'm adding. I decided to wait.
Fun.
Yeah, I really like these mittens. I like the colors. See, and did you see that the color of my thing changed?
Yeah.
It's pink now. Why is it?
Went from blue to pink.
Oh, I don't know if it's the phone doing that. I think it is. Anyway. Okay. So let's talk about that. So here is a little swatch. By the way, for those who aren't familiar with the GeoFade, this is my favorite feature of it. Look at those little cuffs.
I love them.
How cute is that?
They're so cute.
Makes me so happy. All right. I'm rolling over something. Oh, it's a needle. I'll get it out of the way. Don't want to ruin anything. Okay. So let's just a little further over. Okay. Now, here I have a color block, right? So like these are some wide stripes, and I want to carry the gray yarn up so I don't have to cut it and weave it in. And so what I would do, it's not hard, you just have to think about what you're doing, is you always want to bring, so this blue is the yarn I've stopped working with, right? So I've just been knitting with it. If I were to continue, I would hold it, it would come this way. You just want to get that gray yarn, the new yarn, and you're going to bring it over. Oh, I'm going out of frame. You want to bring it over the old yarn. So the new yarn that you're going to start working with should come over the old yarn. So see, you can see that's trapped by the new yarn. And then you just start knitting with it, and that's it.
So easy.
So easy. And then, so right now you can see I have a little gap, but that's just because this guy's loose. So if I just put a little pull on that, it'll cinch right up. So that's all you have to do. And now you can see, hopefully, that this yarn has been trapped by the gray yarn. It's under it. It's a little hard to see. I'll see if I can lighten up the video a little.
Oh, I can see it good.
And now when I use it again, see, it's pulling. It's trapped by that yarn. So it's keeping that last stitch kind of snugged up. Now, I just figured I'd show this too, because I like this little hack when I mean, it's the same thing. It's just a different way of doing it. This is if you're alternating skeins. For example, if you're changing your yarn every row. And I wouldn't use this anytime I wasn't changing my yarn at every row. But this achieves the same thing. And I just like it for kind of keeping things tidy and helping me remember to alternate my skeins. So if I was going to alternate skeins, I would put the old yarn, I'd bring it to the front like that. And then I take the new yarn and just start knitting with it. And then when I come back around, which I'm not going to do all the way around, but when I come back around and switch, it's going to have done exactly the same thing, because I'm going to bring that yarn back around, and then I'm going to switch these yarns and they'll twist around each other just like that. So let's see if I can help visualize.
And that's also what you would do if you were using a hand-dyed yarn that recommends you alternate skeins, just in case they're not exactly the same. That blends them.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, it's exactly why you would do it. And in fact, for those who don't know, I've knit a couple dresses, and the skirts on those dresses were so many stitches, and I got a little lazy on one of them, and I thought, oh, I won't alternate. I'll only alternate at the beginning and the end. The rest should be fine. Well, there was some color pooling that happened in the skein, so I really wish I had alternated. But doing it this way will keep it just keeps those stitches nice and tidy, so that they look consistent in texture. And then so if I did that, if I pulled this in, and then the next time when I come around, with the new yarn, what ends up happening is you end up twisting those around each other, because you're going to move the one back and start working with the new one. And I probably will do a little video that shows that, just to make it clear what I'm doing. But I don't want to make you wait while I knit all the way around. But that's it. Yeah.
That's it.
That's a really good tip. And it will help you. Let me just show you. So I showed you this, but look how nice and uniform those stitches look. So you see a few places, like here, I didn't leave enough slack when I carried the yarn up. It's pulled a little tight, so it makes these stitches small. You can see this is where it's carried from here up to here, and those little yellow stitches are tiny. Oops. So you do want to make sure you have plenty of slack there. But overall, it just looks really nice. Like, I don't have holes there. It'll give you much better knitted fabric. So, all right. Anything else, Andrea?
Yay!
Anything you want to see? No?
I know how to do things.
And even if you don't, it doesn't matter. I mean, we're all here to learn.
Well, I mean, I said it before. When I really started my knitting journey, I had the intention of every new thing that I knit, I was going to learn something with.
Yeah.
And I still have a lot to learn. I joke when I say I know things. I do know things, but knitting is like horseback riding. Like,
yeah,
you can just keep learning your whole life and keep getting better.
Oops.
Like wine.
Yeah. Yeah. I think of it like piano, right? Like, an instrument. Like when I sat down at the piano oh my gosh, how cute are you?
They don't match at all.
Are you using, they don't match with what you're wearing. The funniest thing. What?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I have a plan for some photography later. That's going to be cute.
The fun part about these mittens is we kept re-engineering them. And so we were on a really tight timeline with getting the samples done with the new engineering. And so I knit a small and a large in the sample colors and send them to Andrea. And I said, now all you have to do is knit one small and one large. I actually love the larges. They're really like big and roomy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I could wear either size.
The extra stripes on the sides. Yeah.
I could wear either size. Yeah. So I did. I knit a small. I still have to knit a large.
Yeah.
And then we get to decide who gets which pair.
Ooh.
You have so many mittens.
I know.
I'm jealous.
Yeah.
Some of the ones I made, they ended up not being the right sizes or the right thumbs.
Yeah. Oh, I have a lot with the wrong thumbs.
I do too.
I think I'm just going to finish. Did I leave those with you? Somewhere I have some that were set up for multiple thumbs. I think I'm just going to finish the thumbs. I think it'll be really fun to have a mitten. Okay, it's like an ambidextrous mitten or a two-thumb mitten or...
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
We did it. We made it through episode 3, hopefully. Hopefully it got recorded.
What's on your shelf behind you? Are those tiny dinos?
Aren't they so cute?
They're so cute.
Cute. I like that they live in...
Bring one up here and show us. So these are Anna of Mochi Mochi Land.
This one has the cutest neck shape. You made this one.
I made that one. I got really good at them. I made so many. Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to get this one back.
No, I don't expect to.
I think you made this one too, didn't you?
I think I did. Yeah.
I gave so many of mine away.
Me too. I used to have a herd of I had 11. Oh.
I think you made this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Tina, this girl.
Yeah.
And oh my gosh, did you make all of these? I think I don't have any remaining dinosaurs except for the ones I gave Jeff.
Yeah. Anyway. Yes, I love those. They're my favorite.
They live back here.
I really need more in my life. My favorite is still my Triceratops angel that I knit. I knitted wings. It's in white sparkly. Actually, it's in the same sparkly yarn that my sweater, this sweater is in. I don't think you can see that. Oh yeah, it's sparkly.
I can.
And I did that for my tree. I have a little tiny tree, and I gave it a little halo and knitted wings. It's
so cute, everybody. It's so cute.
I've been holding it. I took it off the tree and I've been petting it the last few nights. I don't know why. I like it.
Here, I can try to find it for everyone.
Oh, there it is.
Hold on.
So cute.
There she is from the front.
Do you have the one of her with the wise men?
Yeah.
Or the wise women? I don't know. Why they gotta be men? Or the shepherds? Well, I called them the shepherds, didn't I?
You know, the Italian story, there is the woman. Of course, she's a witch. If you're a wise woman, you're a witch, apparently.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
If you're a wise man, you're like a king. And if you're a wise woman, you're a witch. I think I'd rather be the witch, honestly.
What? Yeah, I'll take the magical powers of cursing you.
All
right.
We did it.
Thanks. Hey, we like to, at the very end, thank everyone who made it this far.
We really do. In fact,
there will probably be prizes someday.
Oh, I was just thinking we should ask a question. The only people who made it to the end can answer.
But what if they learn about it, they'll skip to the end.
But so don't tell them, you guys. It's a secret. What's a good question? You're good. what's your knitting goal? What's the one thing you've never made that you really want to? All
Can
right.
you hear her? Danger.
Mhm. All right.
Okay. We did.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Bye. Can you see how the
For
cat?
episode 4.
Maybe.
Maybe. No guarantees.
Oh yeah, we need at least a good viewership, please, to keep us motivated.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.